up, everybody? You're listening to From the Gate podcast, where we bring you game, good times, and genuine conversation. I'm Lisi.
Ses.
Let's get it. All right, y'all. So we're doing a crash course on 9 core concepts that help with life challenges and addictive behaviors. And we all have been in those situations where we are just learning how to get over some of the things that we find challenging in life. Not everyone's challenges are going to be the same. We all face different challenges. We all face different things in our lives. And so today's episode is all about discovering how these concepts that were originally developed for overcoming any addiction can be applied to any life-controlling behaviors, whether you're struggling with substances or seeking personal growth with God. These core concepts, they help provide a roadmap to freedom and learning how to live a more fulfilling life. We all live these life experiences and truths about we face like temptation and mind shifts, because it's so easy for the mind to just whoop. Oh, yeah? You thought it was this way, but then you think about it a different way, and then the challenge comes, and you're like, bruh, forget everything. Fuck it all. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
And so, choosing to have better thoughts, and even though we're all taught certain things from our parents, every single one of us, we learn life lessons, and we learn our values from our parents. And so, what their parents taught them, they give it to us. And then because sometimes we don't know any better.
True.
Sometimes we just follow what our parents tell us because they're our parents. We trust them. We trust them that they're going to guide us on the right path. And they do their best, but we also have to remember that they're human too. And we all make
mistakes. That really means you should be listening to your parents.
But what was taught to our parents and teachings that we learned if you grew up in church, teachings that you learned in church or just in your community, whatever community group that you grew up in, whatever friend group you grew up in, because it's not just your parents that teach you these life lessons. You also come along friends that teach you life lessons. You come along aunties, uncles, grandparents, cousins that you're very close to. There's so many people that teach you so many things in life. And sometimes what happens is we're trying to take all these nuggets from all these people and try to apply all of them. And sometimes you put too many ingredients into the soupo. What happened to the soupo?
It tastes better.
Sometimes tastes better. Sometimes it's too salty. When you put too much as seasoning. I sprinkle my season. You sprinkle your season. Everybody sprinkle their own season. Pretty soon it's too much season. But learning how to take those teachings and applying it to ourselves and figuring out what it is that we keep and what is it that we let go of because it doesn't serve you for that season, or maybe it doesn't serve you at all. You know what I mean? Let's get into it, y'all, because 9 is a lot, but I promise you these are great things. These are not even just from me. These are things that we have picked up from other podcasts, other people that have written books about it. Ses has been like big on reading books a lot lately, and actually for a while now he's been on a reading binge, which is awesome because he's just gaining all this knowledge and gaining all this wealth, mental wealth, and being able to share it with you guys today. And so let's talk about not sex.
Which one is it?
Let's talk about number 1, recognizing and overcoming temptations.
Well, if you don't have that by now, then... No, but I think we all fall into that, like, every now and again. I mean, we're humans, so yes, it's always going to appear all the time.
Temptations is always going to be there. And I think, for me personally, one of my, I don't know if this would be a temptation,
Running a red light?
I am a very careful driver. I'm the person that will slow down at the
I mean,
yellow.
if there's no one in the area, and there's, you know what I mean? Yes, I'm going to run the red light, especially if I've been sitting there for 10 minutes. So, I mean, you don't do that?
No. No. I don't do that one. But some temptations, I think one of my biggest temptations that I feel like I struggle the most with is probably sweets.
Isn't that everybody? I know that's for me. I mean, hey, we're having cookies and ice cream. Where?
I'm right there. Pick me, my lord, pick me. And so, even though like I really want to lose my little concha belly over here, I'm.
See, can you like?
Hey, can you come Lalo? This is my temptation, not your temptation, huh?
Well, I mean, you just have to not eat 10.
That's so hard. You give me a bag of Reese's, it's gone in one
over
day.
here. What are you having for breakfast?
Reese's.
Reese's. Man.
Reese's and coffee. That's the breakfast of a
Nobody.
But recognizing and overcoming temptations. It could be something as trivial as sweets, something as simple as sweets. Or it could be something even more so, like even greater than that in the eyes of other people. And so, it really comes down to perception, I feel like. And what I mean by perception, I feel like it all comes down to how you view it and how others view it. Because at the end of the day, nobody can tell you, oh, I think that this is your temptation. Oh, I think this is your biggest weakness. Oh, I think this is your... You know what I mean? Because not everybody lives your life with you on a daily basis. They don't understand what it is you're encountering. They don't understand some of the challenges that you're facing, whether it's spiritually, mentally, physically. And so being able to recognize what it is that you need to work on is probably one of the most powerful things that you can do. Because once you recognize it, it's kind of like where they I'm trying to think of the phrase where they say, oh, the first step is admitting, right?
For
I think it's like
alcoholic.
Is that Alcohol Anonymous?
I don't know. It could be.
I just see it in movies. Like, the first step is to admit what it is you're struggling with.
Like if it's that hard for you to tell the truth, Mom,
then maybe something needs to happen, huh? No, but it's true though. Even though that saying is such a cliche saying in movies, it's true. Sometimes you just have to admit it, say it out loud in order to recognize and realize what it is that you need to work on to overcome. And going into that kind of leads, no, not kind of, it does lead into number 2, where it's embracing how powerful your mind is. And when it comes to embracing how powerful your mind is, it's one of those mindsets. That's where it gets down to mindsets. And realizing what it is that you're wanting to have that mind shift, like I was saying earlier, is being able to switch your mind from being like, oh shit, to, oh hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a simple thing. I mean, if you look at the word, like, if you look at certain expressions, the way that you say something means totally different things. Like, hell yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm with you on that one. Hell yeah! I'm hella with you on that one. You know what I mean? And so, just in that same vein where certain expressions help others understand, like, where it is that you're at with them, I feel that's the same with your mind. When you are constantly, like, in this, mindset of, damn, it's the beginning of the work week again. Instead of,
you get to go to work.
I get to go to work. Yeah, exactly. Instead of, what is it? What is the...
Mind over matter?
Not mind over matter. I have to, changing the I have to I get to.
I get to. Oh, I didn't think of it. Right. Have to count your blessings. With all the P. Diddy, bad boy, take that. I mean, in a way, I just feel bad because I was like, you're such a huge icon. I need a girl, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like he goes all the way back since I was in high school.
Be missing you.
And to be able to be still, this nigga been the devil the whole time. Like, well, I take that back. No, I take that back because I don't know what's going on, and it's none of my business. But man, that's crazy. You can have like everything in the world just to, I don't know, man. Like instead of going and getting a network for music videos, you could have just got your own network for pornography or something where you can just constantly, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if that's your thing.
Because, I mean, technically, that's what he was doing.
I mean, that's what they allegedly.
Allegedly. That's allegedly what he was doing, so.
I don't know. I know he papered up, though. He's papered up. Did you see his 2 matches in Miami? But anyways, you know, he's just a huge icon. I for sure looked up to him. You know, that's a good example for, you know, what we're talking about right now. I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of things that there's nothing like set in stone because the person has to defend themselves, right?
Right.
And it's coming from this girl, like, well, you're probably doing it for the money.
I have my own opinions on this, and like you know it too.
We saw the video. Beat me to have my money. And my nigga came out with the towel, like,
he was ready to go.
Man, that nigga P. Diddy, boy.
He ran out. Man, I'm surprised his towel didn't fall.
Boy, he had a knot, man. He might be half Polynesian, man.
For real, man. The way he knotted his towel, I was like,
ooh, nah. Nah, man, but I just wish luck to all those people, man. And that's crazy. That's crazy. And the judge was like willing to like give him.
Yeah, she was willing to give him the bail.
And then they were like, and I was like, dang, dude, like.
I don't agree with what he did. I don't agree with what he did. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you wanted to make a deal with the devil in order to get your riches and your fame.
Back. He's not the devil. Like
no, he's not the devil. You're right. He's an icon, though, for sure. No, I mean, and he's created
one of
this
the biggest to ever do it.
Right.
I mean, like what?
Bad Boy Entertainment is nothing without Diddy.
He like designed like a whole culture. I don't know, man. A lot of his music kept me out of trouble. Shit.
Really?
Yeah. It had that kind of influence on me. But anyways,
it's unfortunate what he's going through because I feel like he's just the smaller fish in the bigger pond that they're trying to
what if they were like
in?
Doing some stuff? Kamala Harris is going to win this one. P. Diddy, turn yourself in. You get what I'm saying?
What?
Yeah. Diddy, turn yourself in. Did you see that they showed a preview of P. Diddy hours before turning himself in? I was like,
I didn't even see the video.
This is how you know you a hood dude. You know, I think it's cool. My nigga had the cut off T-shirt. I was those kind of tattoos. I was like, man, you got to be one of them guys, man.
But he's held his own in the industry for so long, and like,
I mean, he designed everything. Mary J. Blige, Biggie, Mace, 112. Who else?
Faith Evans.
Faith Evans, Total.
There's so many. There's so many people
French Montana.
There's so many people that.
Oh yeah, you know what size underwear he wears. But no, I mean that's the kind of influence his music had on me.
Huge. And then you can even see, like, he still has an impact on music today. Like, he's worked with so many other R&B artists recently.
Hello.
R&B and hip-hop artists recently. And helped them all get to where they are now. And I just feel like, I don't know, it's just kind of one of those classic examples of turning the cheek when someone's down. But
we'll find out though. When they go to court. So,
but
you can't put judgments like that.
That is true. We are not the justice system, although we think we are because we have the court of public opinion. But I want to save that for a different episode.
Well, everyone just likes to believe what they hear.
Right.
I heard. They don't even have to be like the fool. They just agree just to agree.
Well, I don't think fully. I think, yeah, you're right, kind of. But there are people that do have differing opinions from those. But a lot of times when they try to present their opinions, if it doesn't match the popular one, then it's automatically shut down, or they look at them as...
though. It's like, why are you gazing on another grown man? Or a grown woman? Like, you have that much kind of time to, like, watch, motherfucker? You got the remote, the Coca-Cola.
What's his name, Cameron? He was like, I don't be watching Diddy like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know this was a Diddy joint.
Exactly.
But it's true. Like, there's so many people that want to have an opinion in his case, in his trial, and whatnot that he's got going on. But...
Good.
Oh, sorry. No, I just feel like so many people want to have an opinion in what's going on with Diddy and, like, just saying, like, oh, he's evil, he's this and that. But forgetting, like, how many good things that he has done. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were praising him at a concert. And now all of a sudden they're bashing him, like, literally, like, 2-3 weeks after.
Yeah.
Because the police showed up and arrested him, and now all of a sudden he's this bad guy when you were just at a concert, like, 2-3 weeks ago, singing his songs and whatnot. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's in we'll find out. So, anyways, good luck with that.
But going to...
Number what?
Tree, my lord. Tree.
Embrace.
Captivating and transforming our negative thoughts.
Well, I mean, if you know how to balance things out, you can... My mind's playing tricks on me.
My mind's telling me no. That's another person we're not supposed to...
a rap song. She gonna come with an R. Kelly. Can you just sit tight and giraffes?
Go from one bad guy to another bad guy. Nah, I'm just joking, guys. We're gonna get blacklisted because of this. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, captivating and transforming our negative thoughts. And so when it comes to... I sit alone in my four-cornered room staring at candle. Is that what you were talking about? At night I can't sleep. I toss and turn, candlesticks in the dark, visions of bodies being burned.
This goes back to like 91.
Oh, what?
My mother's always stressing I ain't living right. But I ain't going out without a fight. See, every time my eyes close, I start sweating. Blood starts coming out my nose. There's somebody watching me act. But I don't know who it is, so I'm watching my back. I can see a...
Get it, sis. Get it, sis. Get it, sis.
Slow something.
Just throwing it back a little bit, because you know.
What do you think about that?
I have a hard time with it, to be honest.
In what way?
When it comes to, like, capturing my negative thoughts, it's very hard for me to catch it and keep it in a box far away. And so, a lot of times what'll happen is I feel like I catch it and I dwell on it instead of transforming it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it just, depending on the situation.
And so, I feel like for me personally,
We all dwell. I mean, it's something normal we all do. I mean, just some know how to handle it better than others, but we dwell. We all dwell. And it's normal. If you say, I don't dwell, like, damn lie. You just sitting here talking about that 15 years ago. Can you get over that, sir? Hold on, let me repeat that. I'm thinking, can you get over that, sir? Over a few dollars? Like, damn.
That's it.
While you was over here, over here stressing about a few dollars. Like, really? See? Tell me how you really feel. Jesus.
What's the real D? But no, I feel like that's something that I'm still working on is capturing and transforming. Not just capturing and holding it captive.
About boy, but go ahead, sorry.
500 years later. But no, so transforming those negative thoughts into being something that can propel you forward. And sometimes I feel like, especially when it comes to thoughts about myself or like situations that I encounter.
You could always find somebody that probably been there and done that, right?
Right.
So if it's that serious, hey, whoa.
Have a conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's normal.
Do you think having those conversations with another person helps? I don't know. I find it hard.
I mean, just to help understand. I mean, just depending on who it is, Like,
that's true. That's what I was going to say is because a lot of times, like...
It just depends.
That's what I was going to say because a lot of times I find myself, like, to be distrusting.
Yeah, you do that way too often. Did I do anything wrong to you?
And so, like, having those conversations are very... having those conversations are very difficult for me because of how distrusting I am. I feel that's part of why distrust has a big part in holding captive and dwelling on negative thoughts.
But you have to just understand, like, no one is gonna... I mean, good luck on that. You have to find that within your own self before, like, trying to seek that from somebody else.
And that kind of goes into the next concept, which is living a life in love and compassion instead of fear and stress.
Well, if you realize, okay, let me evaluate my situation. Still able to wake up in the morning. I ain't got no bar soap to wash my stank ass, but I'm here.
TMI, sir.
And that's not me. To realize that and understand that, it's one day at a time. No one is perfect. And patience is a virtue. Consistency. Hard work over talent. It's the way I've always lived. So...
sometimes I wish...
some just know how to take it better than others.
Right. Sometimes I wish talent was enough, but unfortunately...
in some cases it does.
What cases?
Depending on the circumstances of the individual.
That's true.
I mean, if you're just going to sit there and dwell, stress, complain, like you're already setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
And then everybody around you just looking at you like, damn. Yeah, all right, bruh.
So how do you transform that? How do you transform that whole... how do you transform from stress to love?
Well, before it even gets to love, but just understanding, like, okay, it's going to take a little time. Sometimes we always like to overthink a lot of things because we like to think like 2020, plan it out for like a week or two and go from there. Then a month, half of a year, and then 2 years, pow out, nigga, right back.
Guess who's back? Back again. Bad jokes.
Because we all know, and it don't even really matter at this point, to be honest. If you want it that bad, you'll stick to it, and you will achieve it, and go on. So,
why do you think? Because we're talking about living a life of love and compassion. What does that look like?
Love and compassion.
Yeah, living a life of love and compassion instead of fear and stress.
Just loving yourself and loving the people that you are revolved around. Family, kids, wife, husband, fiance, Tanase, Beyonce. No, just, you know what I mean? And it is not that hard.
I feel like it's hard for some people, not for everybody.
Coming from you, I don't know. I mean, it's still challenging sometimes to understand how you guys, well, not you guys, like why is that like always the first thing? If you've gotten it that way for so long, don't you think it's time to try this way? If you've been going down this one street, this road, and then you just keep coming right, end up right back. All right, guys. Yeah, I'll be right there. Go ahead. Yeah. All right. Hey, I see you guys. And then you go this way. You know what I mean? Like, it's
like, I'll meet you guys over there.
It's very simple.
I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still figuring it out. And so but it ties into what the next concept is, which is the power of forgiveness and self-love. Because when it comes to living a life in love and compassion instead of fear and stress, you mentioned how loving yourself is very important. Who do you think needs more forgiveness? Us? Like you forgiving yourself, or you forgiving others?
It depends. Whatever your situation is, whatever your priority is, what you're willing to forgive, and what you're willing to forget. So, for instance, a wedding, and then, they don't even end up showing up. And then everyone gets mad because, remember, they had all this pride because he didn't have the gooper to go get his damn tuxedo. So he just X'd himself out of the wedding line when you could have just, we all pitched in, just like, but if you were listening.
If you was paying attention in the first place.
Nothing is too hard unless you tell yourself it's too hard. The only thing is you have to take advantage of the time because time waits for nobody.
That is very true. There's a podcast we were listening to, and the guest on the podcast, he was talking about how time is the biggest colonizer. And in terms of time has come in and controlled everyone's life. We all try to live according to a certain timeline. We all try to live according to the way time has dictated it for years for us, for each person. You know what I mean? And so I think it's
still a big problem today. But I mean, do what you got to do and stick to your own. That's never going to change. Obviously, if it did change, it would have never followed Europe and all these people for so many damn years, right?
Right. I do believe in the power of forgiveness, though. I do. I do believe in the power of forgiveness, and I do believe in the power of first loving God and then loving yourself. Because I think it's...
Yeah, I mean, like, but here, this is where I have to disagree.
Hit me.
God is always going to be there regardless.
Right.
Through the good times, bad times, whatever. Right?
Right.
So, he gave you the road. He gave you an outlet. It's up to you what you want to do with it. You know, my parents, they weren't millionaires. So how are they going to tell me how to get money and what to do with money? Right?
Right.
But what they did have was work ethic. You know what I mean? And that's why where it comes for you, do you have to do that for that? Get the business, get the degree, get the family, like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
To make it easier for the parents, easier for auntie and uncle, and you know what I mean? That's the right way to do things, you know, but we all sometimes getting like caught in these bullshit.
Yeah, but if you're not going to show up for yourself, then who is?
That's not anyone's business, though. You ain't got to prove that to nobody but yourself. You ain't got to go tell everybody. I know in your case, you guys are nonchalant about it. Like, hey, look what I did. Look what I've done. And, okay, do 20 more of those. You know, like it doesn't matter by that. You don't own an explanation to anybody about anything. Like Denzel said, the loudest one is the weakest one. The opportunities and all of that, you know, the careers and jobs, it's already there. Just waiting for you to come and get your piece of the pie. Simple.
Next one is the greatest commandments and loving others as yourself.
Facts. You know, I mean, those are just some basic, over-the-counter things. Like, you can't live by that. Like,
right.
We're not always going to be perfect, but you'll never be perfect.
No, nobody.
But that's
will.
what we strive to get, to be like.
Greatest commandment, according to Scripture, is love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Period. Whoever that may be.
Then love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Facts.
And I think Jesus said that on purpose because he knows a lot of times we will love ourselves more than we love the next person. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's hard, loving others more than yourself. And especially because we do live in a world where it's all about, I'm keeping my boundaries because I'm loving me and I want to stay in this little bubble.
Don't get the hell out of here. We're going to smack taste out your mouth.
But Jesus knew that as humans we're selfish.
I was just kidding, by the way.
What?
Go ahead.
It's true. As humans we're selfish.
Yeah, we are.
And so the greatest commandments is first, love Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And there's a reason for that, because...
That'd be another topic.
Yeah, another topic for another time.
Let's move number 7.
Discovering the science behind addictive behaviors.
I think we all find... Yeah, I'll speak for myself on this one. Hell yeah. Like I said earlier, it's no one's goddamn business. It's no one's goddamn business on what you do in your own time, in your own place, in your own shit. Come again? Like, you don't owe an explanation to nobody.
The science behind a lot of addictive behaviors, though, just goes back to dopamine.
Sure.
And you getting that hit
dopamine, amphetamine, mistamine, incredibly. Whatever mean you.
Whatever means you mean it.
Yeah. You know, unless it's really, really to the part where, like, nigga, that's your business. It's your business. And if they don't like it, hit the road, Jack.
Don't you come back no more.
Hit the road, Jack.
No more.
If it's, let me be specific here, a group of people that is identifying that it could be this or that. Like, maybe you should look in the mirror and judge your self-esteem, because this is your conscience talking to you. And don't worry about what other people are doing.
Right.
It's none of your business. Period.
But I think this concept is primarily talking about understanding the science behind the addictive behavior, so that way you can, if it needs to be corrected, you can correct it. And if it doesn't need to be corrected, that's on you. That's not on anybody else to judge or to say anything about.
But when you use the term addictive, like
the gym can be addictive.
Exactly, like the person can just really, really love what they do.
Right.
I mean, yes, it could be off here or whatever. I mean, like shit, it's like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But
but I think it's so important in that sense to find what makes you like click, what makes you just like.
I mean, I'm sure everybody has family members, siblings. Hey, John, how are you? you have neighbors.
According to my calculations.
Hey, Jose, how you doing? But I mean, like, yeah. Anyways, easy.
But yeah, figuring out the things that make you click and just understanding the science behind it. Because sometimes the science behind a lot of these things is very interesting. We just sometimes are ignorant towards it. Moving on to number 8, forgiveness of self and others.
Science behind what? Addictive behavior?
Yes, there's a whole science behind it.
Yeah, it's true.
You go talk to a biologist, they're gonna break it down how the dopamine coming from the brain and go into your body.
No, you know what it's called for me?
What is it?
It's called the push-up. Anyways, forgiveness of self and others.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta forgive more than you hate. Forgive more than you hate. Because if you hate more than you forgive, like, you might as well just... Hey, this is Red Bull commercial.
Red Bull gives you what? Nah.
You gotta forgive.
You gotta forgive yourself first.
Forgive. No matter what direction that may go. Yourself, your neighbor, sibling, wife, husband. You gotta forgive shit. Forgive what? I ain't did nothing. I don't bother nobody. Mind your own, you live long. You heard that term? Yeah. Go watch the movie Boys in the Hood, The Wood, Menace to Society. You know, that'll give you a few steps how to achieve whatever you're trying to get to. That's where I'm from. Are we on the last one?
Yes, sir. How to use the armor of God.
Just waking up every morning before going to bed.
When tempted. How to use the armor of God when tempted, sorry.
Just to understand that there's somebody bigger than yourself. God, the Almighty, is everything.
That's true. And I think understanding the armor of God is so important when it does come to being tempted. I'm gonna be honest, I don't always have my armor on. Most of the time I have it off, and that's what gets me in trouble.
It's a choice. You make the choice to take it off, though.
100%.
Why? Why you pump faking?
What do you mean, why am I pump faking?
If you understand it the way it's supposed to be understood, then like, why you pump faking?
I'm not pump faking.
So what do you call it? Skirt?
No.
Then what is it called?
Hey, it's
now.
called...
It's called what? I'm waiting for a response.
It's not called pump faking.
How is it not called pump faking?
We don't always have the armor of God on. Nobody always... Well, I don't know. Maybe some people always have the armor of God on. And if you do, then I commend you, because it's not always easy. It is not always easy.
I mean, we all know that. I mean, nothing in life is easy. But if you was taught to understand God like that, then There's nothing to really to talk about because your faith. I'm going down, baby. No street in the rings. I'm a street sweeper, baby. Cop ready to let it listen to it now. Light it up and take a puff. That's it to me now.
But the armor of God, this is something that I used to hear
like,
all the time.
Some people are going to get it right more than others, right? But if you believe and that's something that you are struggling with and that's something that you want to work on, and that is your potential to get to the level of that, then that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. I think the armor of God is something that we should go deeper into in a different episode just because there's so many different...
How much more do you need to understand? The man sacrificed his body.
I understand that Jesus died on the cross for us, but that's not what the armor of God is. The armor of God is...
No, but I'm saying that's the understanding. That's where you learn and where you develop a sense of belief. To have that strength is by seeing those kind of things. Because it's like, wow, who can do this other than, right? Yes. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, I don't really understand it. Hold on, let me just jump in. I don't read the Bible, but I read it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
armor of God found in Ephesians 6, it talks about how it's so important to have the helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, sword of the Spirit, shield of faith, shoes of the gospel of peace. I feel like I'm missing one more, but I'm just doing this from memory. So the armor of God includes 5 different components. You have, or actually there's 6, but I can't recall what the 6th one is. Helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, shield of faith, sword of the Spirit, shoes of the gospel of peace. And the thing to understand about the armor of God is that each piece is meant to protect something, is meant to protect a part of your body, which is helmet of salvation is meant to protect your mind. Breastplate of righteousness is meant to protect your heart. Shield of faith is meant to block whatever darts are coming at you from the enemy. And then the sword of the Spirit is to cut through and to fight off your enemies. And then shoes of the gospel of peace is to protect your feet as you go on the path that the Lord has intended for you. And so that's the purpose of the armor of God. So I finally remember the 6th one. The 6th part of the armor of God is the belt of truth. And the belt of truth, of course we know belts keep your pants up, right? But the girdle is actually what it's originally called. And that's to protect like your stomach area and your private parts in order to hold everything together. And that's because that's what the truth does. The truth is what keeps everything together. Paul, when he wrote to the Ephesians, he talked about this because he knew that the Ephesians were struggling with temptation because they didn't grow up. They grew up with like the Greek gods and everything. They grew up with pagan gods. They didn't grow up with Heavenly Father as their God.
Mm.
And so they were consistently getting tempted by this community that they grew up in, the community that they were living in, to do certain things that wasn't pleasing towards the Lord. And so Paul talked to them about this, like, oh, you're having trouble with guarding your thoughts? Put on the helmet of salvation. Remember that you were saved through the blood of Jesus Christ, and the helmet of salvation is there to protect your mind from thinking negative things. Oh, you have hate in your heart towards someone? Put on the breastplate of righteousness. Realize that everybody sins, including you. And no one is righteous. Not one person is righteous. It's scriptural. Jesus said it. No one is righteous. No, not one. And realizing that, so when we put on the breastplate of righteousness, we are choosing to accept Jesus into our hearts and allowing Him to make us righteous instead of it being on our own accord. And the sword of the Spirit is the Bible, of course, where we use the Bible in order to fight against these things. And then the shield of faith, Abraham, father of faith, greatest to do it according to Hebrews 11. But the shield of faith protects us from doubts and things that come our way, that challenges, obstacles, things that constantly are thrown at us, because in Ephesians 6 it talks about how the devil is always throwing fiery darts at us any opportunity he gets. And so the shield of faith is meant to protect you from those fiery darts. And then shoes of the gospel of peace. Peace, that's what it is. Because the Lord wants you to live in peace. He wants to guide you on a path of peace. And when you wear the shoes of the gospel of peace, that's to help guide you. Like, you may look this way, you may look that way, but those shoes are what makes you go on the path of peace that the Lord has intended for you. And so that's why I said, I don't always have the armor on. I don't always have my helmet of salvation to help protect me from negative thoughts. I don't always have my shield of faith to protect me from doubts. I don't always have my breastplate of righteousness to protect me from hate. I don't always have...
But why do you let that stuff influence when you know it's wrong?
There's so many times we know things are wrong and we still do it. It's like what Paul says, like, because of this flesh that we are in, like, I do what I don't want to do, and I don't do what I should do. And it's a battle. It's a battle that we face every single day of our lives as humans. Like, we're consistently fighting against our flesh, which is why it's so essential. That's why I feel like a lot of these concepts are so essential, is because a lot of them tie into each other when it does come to, number one, recognizing and overcoming temptations. A lot of these things, it plays a big role. It all ties in together in order to make us whole and to make us pursue peace and help us travel on a path of peace. For me, that's the ultimate goal. Personally, for me personally, that's my ultimate goal, is to be on a path of peace and to stay on that path of peace. That's what I want most out of life.
I feel it.
So what are your thoughts? What are some of your thoughts on when it comes to overcoming addictive behaviors? What are some things that you do personally that helps you to overcome these things? Because we're all human. We all face this stuff. If you come up to me and you tell me, like, I ain't got no issues with nothing, man, get that cone out of my face. Let us know over here on From the Gate Podcast. You can find us on all of our social medias at From the Gate. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. Lisi.
Ses.
Deuces.
Peace.